So, welcome back to Low Budget Motorsports. If you're new, welcome. We're working on a CrossKart build here. This is going to be the 5th video. If you haven't checked out the ones before it, go check them out. We got a couple updates on what was going on, and then a part special to show off some of the cool things that are going to be going on it. But before we get started with the video, I got to give a huge shout out to my dad. Just thanks for letting me use your shop and your tools and taking up space. So thanks, Dad. So with the CrossKart, we've had a lot going on, but I have been staying relatively busy on it. So we got just a lot going on. I got the front wheels just sitting out here, but those A-arms are in the works, but it is on its own weight. Its own suspension is holding it up currently, but we'll get to that in a moment. So how is this going to be powered? So this here is a 1250 inline 4 Suzuki out of a Bandit, which was the cruiser bike, 50 cc smaller than the Hayabusa. Factory, this will put out 100 horse, but I have good hopes that I'm going to get a good tuner on it, and I'm going to do a little bit of extra work, and I'm hoping to get at least 150 out of it, which should carry me around nicely. So the frame itself weighs about 160 pounds without A-arms on it or anything else. Add in the floor pans and it's going to be looking at 190, 195. The engine weighs 210, and I'm hoping so that we'd have 400. So with all of the rest of the parts, I'm hoping to sit around 700 to 750 pounds total, which should give me a pretty awesome power to weight ratio. So the engine is sitting in here. It has a subframe welded around it, and then it has a plate on the bottom, and then it hooks to these two beams, and then it's sitting on sliders. So that'll allow me to move the engine forward or backward, so I can keep the chain tight, so I don't have to worry about chucking the chain all the time. So I got me a nice new sprocket on there, and I have a big sprocket on the back. So I just have a 1-inch I-beam shaft here, and then pillar block bearings. Just pretty simple. So then this here is a hub that me and my neighbor have been laying down. So this is just a simple plate, and then it has a notch so that this will sit on it, and then this will be bolted through, and then we're going to make another one to sandwich it on both sides. So that's going to be our chain for the engine. So then there's no blocks under there. It's sitting on the outside spindles, so its own suspension's holding it up. So it has, I've been working on this. So we got simple bushings in here. Got those from Speedway. And then it has just a 1-inch tube like everywhere else. These are just simple A-arms I came up with. Never built A-arms before, so I was pretty happy with that. And I don't have all the fancy tools, so these do have heim joints out here on the spindles so that I can adjust it in and out, because these aren't exactly perfect yet. There could be another set coming eventually. So then holding it up is a set of Elka Legacy Series. These would go on a YF Z450. These are the long travel versions, so I have one for each corner, which they're doing pretty good right now. They got about 300 pounds roughly sitting on them, and they're holding up pretty nicely. So I built all of this up here, these extra shock towers, since I had a video, and then this is just sitting up here right now. It hasn't been fabricated out and tacked on yet, so the suspension's all just tacked on. It hasn't been final welded yet. So moving forward, we got the engine, of course, and then right here in this hole, I got some little pieces made out, and then that's where this battery's gonna sit. This is a battery out of a lawnmower. I figured since I got the room and I got the space, I might as well put a little bit bigger battery in it to have plenty of cranking power in case I get into a pinch and have some wiring trouble, which very well could happen. So then we got the seat in there, of course, and the engine is quite relatively close. It's not very far. So we got the steering shaft in there. It's mounted off a couple heim joints. quick connect wheel. Then I have the gauge cluster in there. And this would come out of the bike. So I got that off eBay. So it would have been mounted in the original bike, so out of the 1250 Bandit, and I should be able to plug it into my ECM and get my tack on there and my codes and the fuel, because I'm using the same sending unit out of the bike, so that should plug in, and I'm using the same radiator and fan out of the bike, so that should all plug in. So we got the front wheel just sitting out there, so if you can see, it's going to be looking at about like a 2.5 foot A-arm. I haven't done all the math yet. I've just gotten started. I've just been working on the bushing mounts. I got a couple stacked up here. They're just going to be pretty simple. They're beveled out so they'll fit around the tube, and then they'll be braced at the top, and then the same style bushing will go in them as they do the back. So we got the brake pedal that's been in there, of course. Here we just got the simple heim joints. Everything's pretty simple, because I don't know how to make the complex parts yet. So we got just a simple pedal here. Should go with a just a little cable all the way from the engine up to here. And we have the other wheel sitting over here. And then moving around, we got this arms over here. Okay, so then if you haven't noticed, we have floor pans up here, but I did not have floor pans made out for the back two sections, so I have those completed. So they're going to be made out of aluminum. So we have this one here. We'll go for the under the engine, and then this one's even thinner, and it'll go under that back square section. And then I also have this piece. This piece goes in between, down here, in between the seat and the engine, just as more protection. And then we come to my new favorite thing. So I had to use some CAD on this cardboard-aided design. So this is what my fuel tank's going to be. So this will hold roughly about 5.5 gallons. So this will sit in this hole on the side of the engine. I put it in there, but it's very difficult. So that'll be made out of aluminum, and then it'll have the sending unit and the fuel pump all made into the bottom, which will plug into my wiring harness and run through my own ECM for the engine, and it'll hook up to my gauge cluster. So I think that's all I got right now. Like, follow, comment if you've got questions or ideas. Love to hear more ideas. Thanks for watching. Check out the other videos. We'll see you next time.